When you were little, did you used to pretend that you had a superpower? I know I did. I always wanted to fly. I feel like our whole society is really enthralled with the idea of superpowers and superhero movies. You really can't go to a movie trailer today without seeing one. I mean, Shazam, Wonder Woman, Spider Man, The Clash of them all. But why are we so fascinated with superpowers? I think it's because we believe that if we had a superpower, it would somehow enhance our lives beyond what our lives are today. So maybe we would have more friends. Maybe we would have a better job or be able to attract the love of our lives. But the truth is that you really and truly do have a superpower. The problem is that we don't come with a manual. So either you're not aware that you have it, or if you are, you've probably been misusing it. So I want to talk to you today about your superpower. The world has changed a lot since I grew up. With the advent of the internet, we are now more interconnected to each and every person than we ever have been, which is wonderful because on a soul level, we are pure energy. We are beings of light and we are very powerful and we're nothing but true love. But what we tell ourselves often becomes our reality. And we put a lot of stock in what other people say. And although social media has been a great connector for everybody to remind us that we are more connected to each and every person more than you could possibly fathom, the danger in that is that a lot of how we value ourselves comes from the comments and the perceptions of other people. But they're based on just that, perceptions. They're really not based on reality. So for example, let's say that I go on a great vacation and I post a picture of myself on Facebook and I get 100 likes and people are making comments, oh my gosh, you look so beautiful. Oh my gosh, you look so happy. And I feel great. And then 6 months later, I go on another vacation and I post another picture. But this time, only 5 people like it and nobody makes any comments. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, what's wrong? Did I look fat in that picture? What happened to all my friends? Nobody likes me. And I feel really bad. But is it really based in reality or truth? No, it's not. It's based on a perception, but it becomes our reality. And the problem is that in our society, we have been programmed to think the worst about ourselves. So if you've ever been out with a bunch of your friends, guys, you may have witnessed this before, but we women will get up, one will get up to go to the bathroom and we'll go as a tribe. We'll all walk into the bathroom and we walk in the door and there's that big mirror and it begins. And the first person is like, oh my God, nobody told me I look so bad in these pants. I look so fat. I am never wearing these pants again. And the other person looks in the mirror and they're like, holy cow, that zit that I had this morning is like the size of Mount Everest now. Oh my God, I'm so embarrassed. And another person was like, oh my God, my roots are growing out in my hair. Oh, I look so gray, I look so old. And if we're lucky, we're surrounded by really great friends. And our friends are like, oh my gosh, I thought you looked fantastic in those pants. And your other friend is like, I didn't even notice that you had a zit. And the other friend is like, I was noticing how beautiful and shiny your hair looked in the restaurant. It's because we are programmed to say the worst thing about ourselves and to say wonderful things about other people. Never in the history of Friends have we walked into the restroom and the person is like, oh my God, I look so fabulous in this dress. I should wear this every day. And another person is like, oh my gosh, the color of this shirt makes my eyes pop. Wow, I didn't realize my eyes look so beautiful. No, because if we did that, we would be labeled as self-centered, narcissistic, egotistical, all the things that we don't want to be labeled as. But that's just how our society is. And that's how our thoughts go. So during our day, we wind up telling ourselves these things that are not even true, maybe based on perceptions from everybody else. So would you be surprised to know that when you wake up in the morning to start your day, you're going to have about 50,000 thoughts on average today? 50,000 thoughts. That means by lunchtime, you've already had like 20,000 thoughts. Now, a lot of them are great and they serve you, like turn left at this street and make sure I get to work on time and don't forget to pick up some milk for dinner tonight on the way home. But there are so many thoughts that we have that don't serve us. So let's say that we get up in the morning and I'm getting ready for work And all of a sudden I get a phone call from one of my friends, and I stop and I take the phone call because I'm a good friend and I know my friend needs some help. And now I realize when I get off the call that, oh my gosh, I'm running super late and I've used a bunch of my phone battery. So I stick my phone in the phone charger and I hurry up and I get ready for work and I leave. I get about a mile away from my house and I realize, oh my God, I forgot my cell phone. And I can't live without my cell phone, so I have to turn around and go back. And I'm like, I am such an idiot. How could I be so stupid to leave my cell phone on the charger? So irresponsible. And we go back and we get it. And then we're like getting to work and we're like, oh my God, I'm gonna lose my job. My boss is gonna fire me. I'm the worst employee ever. And we sit down at our desk to do our work and we get to this problem we can't figure out. And we tell ourselves, I'm so stupid. How did I get this job? How did I keep this job? Everybody else in the office seems to know how to do this. Why can't I do it? And then we go to lunch and we're standing there at the deli counter and we look over and we see this person wearing the same outfit that we haven't been able to wear for 6 months. And we think to ourselves, oh my God, I'm a fat ass. I am so lazy. I should be exercising. I don't eat healthy enough. I'm never going to attract the person that I want to have in my life. And on it goes. What if instead you were to wake up in the morning and when you remembered that you forgot your cell phone, instead of telling yourself that you were stupid, you were to tell yourself, I'm such a good friend. I took that phone call because I helped somebody else. And when you got to work, you remembered that you actually interviewed for this job amongst other people and got that job and you're a great employee. And what if when you got to this problem you couldn't figure out, instead of telling yourself that you were stupid, what if you remembered that you are smart and you do know how to learn new skills and you're just gonna figure out how to learn a new skill? And when you get to the deli counter and you see that person wearing the suit that doesn't fit, you're like, yeah, they look great. But you know what? Tonight when I get home, I'm gonna go take a walk instead of sitting on the couch watching TV. And I'm gonna make a healthier choice for dinner tonight. Your thoughts are your superpower. Why? Because only you control them. You have complete authority over what you tell yourself. And since thoughts are energy and we are energy beings, our thoughts actually become a reality, good or bad. So if you're telling yourself horrible things, your life isn't probably going to go the way you want it to go. And if you look at our society, we are in an epidemic crisis. You can't turn on the TV without hearing about somebody committing suicide. And I don't think that there's a single person who's committed suicide who got there by saying, I am powerful, I am strong, I'm beautiful, I'm lovable, I have lots of friends. And I'm not talking about people who have a true mental illness or chemical imbalance in their brain. I'm talking about the average teenage kid who instead is telling themselves, I'm worthless, I'm unlovable, I hate myself. My life isn't going the way I want it to go. Because when you tell yourself those things, they actually become your reality. So I have an idea. I want you to take the superpower challenge. I want you to uncover what you're telling yourself, and I want you to figure out how you can change that to make your life the best it can be. I'm picking Tic Tacs. I don't get paid by Tic Tac, but I'm picking Tic Tacs because I don't think there's any person in the United States within about 5 minutes of a box of Tic Tacs. They're sold at every convenience store, gas station, Walmart. And I want you to go get them because they're little and they're portable. They come in lots of different flavors. So if you don't like mint, you can get orange. And when you begin your day tomorrow, I want you to take off the blinders for the first time. And I want you to see what you're actually telling yourself. And when you get to the point where you tell yourself, I'm stupid, I'm worthless, my life isn't good, I want you to actually eat a Tic Tac. Why? Because if you actually eat a Tic Tac, it's going to be a very harsh reminder of what you're doing to yourself. And I know there are going to be a lot of you that are going to get to the end of your day and you're not going to have any Tic Tacs left. And sadly, there are going to be a lot of people who are going to get to noon and they're probably not going to have any Tic Tacs left. But that's okay, because this is a tool to help you uncover what you're doing so that you can make a change. And if you eat the whole box, it's going to be about 120 calories. And the worst thing that's going to happen is you're going to have really good breath. So I want you to start this tomorrow morning, and I want you to monitor what you're doing and see how you can make a change, and then change what you're saying. And as you're doing this exercise, I want you to imagine that you have this little wagon attached to the back of you. And every time you have a non-productive thought, I want you to take it out of your head and examine it. And I want you to think about what you can say to make a change. So if you're telling yourself you're stupid, tell yourself, I can learn new things, and put that thought back in, and take this bad thought and throw it in the back of that wagon. And notice your patterns. Notice that you're going to have probably several thoughts that you're going to tell yourself over the course of the day. And that's because we have accumulated a lot of life. And sometimes we hold on to things that don't serve us and we're not even aware of it. So this is your chance to become aware of what you're doing. And at the end of the day, you're going to look back in that wagon and you're going to see a pile of thoughts that don't serve you, but you're powerful. And you're going to be able to untie that wagon from yourself and let that dead weight go. And you'll be replacing all those great thoughts in your head instead. It takes about 21 days to make a real change and make a habit of what you're doing. So this is going to be a little bit of a lengthy process, but I promise you, your thoughts are going to empower you. So I'm an everyday hiker. I live in Arizona and I hike a mountain all the time. And a couple of weeks ago, I saw these 3 young girls with their mom starting to climb this mountain. And I was with my dog Storm, and I climbed the mountain, and then I was coming down and I ran into the first 2 girls, and they were doing a good job. They were making it up the mountain. And I got to the mom and she was exasperated. She was so frustrated because the last girl was way behind her. And I continued my walk, and I got down to that girl. And I said, "How are you doing?" And she said, "Not good." And I looked at her water and I said, "You only have about half your water." And I knelt down in front of her and I used this as a chance to talk to her. And I started giving her my water. And I said, "What are you saying to yourself as you're climbing this mountain?" Now, this girl was probably 13 years old, little blonde hair parted down the middle, freckles, braces, maybe a size 0. And she looked at me and her tears started to fill into her eyes and run down her cheeks. And she said, "It's hard." And I said, if you keep telling yourself it's hard, you're right. If you keep telling yourself you can't do this, you're right. That's what you're going to experience. Let me walk with you. Let me show you how you can change what you're saying to yourself. Because look, you have already made it 3/4 of the way up this mountain. You don't have that far to go, and I know you can do it. You are powerful. Did you even know that? You are a powerful soul, and I know that you can make it up that mountain. And so we turned around and started climbing, and we took that first step. And I said, we are 1 step closer to the top. And then we took another really big step, and I said, we just got stronger taking that step. And I told her, this doesn't just apply to climbing this mountain. This applies to everything you're going to do in your life. You tell yourself that you can't do it. You tell yourself that you're not going to succeed and you're not good enough. That is exactly what you're going to experience. But if you can tell yourself that you are powerful and you can do whatever you put your mind to, that's what you're going to experience in your life. And about that time, we caught up with her mom. And I told her mom that she was going to have to help her change what she was saying all the way up to the top. And she was no longer allowed to say she couldn't do it and that this was hard. And they promised me that they would. And I gave her a high five and up she went. Now, I don't know if she actually climbed top of the mountain. I like to believe that she did. But as I was hiking down that mountain, I ran into a guy who said, "I saw you talking to that girl. I walked by, I heard what you said." He said, "Are you a personal coach? Are you a motivational speaker?" And I laughed and I said, "I'd like to be." And he said, "I've been a basketball coach for a number of years. And I've noticed over time that when people lose their basketball game, it's usually the free throw. Like they'll get in their head during a game and they'll lose it. But during practice, when they're trying to get it back, I might say, 'Hey, Jimmy, I noticed that the last time you were hitting those free throws, you had your toe like an inch below the line, turned out just a little bit.' And they make that one change and miraculously they're hitting the baskets. They're hitting it. Did they really have that stance? No. But they really believed the coach that was true. And when you really believe something deeply, that's what becomes your reality. When my son was 8 years old, one morning I got him up to go to school And he said, I don't want to go to school. I hate school. And I was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. We do not use hate in this family. What the heck is going on? And this is a kid who had previously been pretty happy going to school. But for whatever reason, he decided now he didn't like school. He hated school. So I became concerned. I was wondering, is he getting bullied? Does his teacher not like him? Is the work too hard? Is it too easy? Is he bored? And I vetted all those things with him, and I found out that none of them were true. He had just made some random decision that he didn't like to go to school anymore. Now I knew I could not tell him that he had to tell himself he loved school, because he'd never believe it. But I told him that he had to change what he was saying, and he could no longer use the word hate. So we decided we would change it to, I don't like school that much. And I let that go on for a while. But after a while, I made him change it to, school's not so bad. And then we changed it to, school's kind of okay. And then we changed it to, I kind of like school. And after a few months, we changed it to, I like school. And this is a boy who totally excelled in school after that. Went on to graduate from college and is going to be an Air Force pilot. He is super successful. And I learned a really valuable lesson very early in my life, in my 30s, that what you tell yourself actually can become your reality. And I experienced that through him. It's a really powerful lesson. And I travel a lot for work. And if you've ever been on an airplane, I'm sure that you've heard the safety speech. And you know that part like where the oxygen mask comes on and they tell you, you must put your oxygen mask on yourself before you can put it on anybody else. When I traveled with my kids, I hated that. I thought, oh my gosh, if something happened to my kids, I'm gonna put my mask on my kids before I put it on myself because I love them more than I love myself. But I didn't realize that if I was passed out from oxygen deprivation, I probably wasn't gonna be much help getting them off that plane. There's a reason that they tell you to put your oxygen mask on first. Why? Because you're no good to anybody else unless you help yourself. And it's actually the same about loving yourself. Until you can really and truly love yourself, you're not going to be able to love anybody else. So the next assessment I want you to do in conjunction with the Superpower Challenge is that when you get up in the morning tomorrow to start your day, and you're going to monitor your thoughts that aren't serving you, I want you to look in the mirror and I want you to say to yourself, however it is that you feel. I know that there are going to be some of you that say, I hate myself. And I know that there are going to be some of you that say, I don't like myself very much. But if you say, I hate myself, I want you to change that. At least change it to, I don't like myself very much. And start to make these little subtle changes until you can get to the place where you can truly say, I love myself. Because this is really important. You'll never be able to attract the love that you deserve from anybody else until you can love yourself. The great thing though is that we've been given this very beautiful example of true unconditional love on this planet. Storm, I don't know where my dog is, but my dog Storm has been my best example of true unconditional love. Our pets are a wonderful example. So what I want you to do is I want you to spend a minute or two every day with your pet, looking into their eyes and feeling the energy that they are showing you about what true love is supposed to feel like. And if you don't have your own pet, maybe you can borrow a friend's pet. Maybe you can borrow a neighbor's pet. Maybe you can go to the shelter. And if you don't have any of those options, maybe you can actually go onto My Dog Storm's Instagram page. Because remember, we are all energy, and you can look into her eyes in one of her pictures and you can feel the true energy of what she is and what that true unconditional love is. You are powerful, and I believe in you, and I want you to have the best life that you can possibly have. And that begins with the power of telling yourself what is really true and beautiful about who you are. So please go, get your Tic Tacs, take the challenge, and let me know how it's going. I would love to hear from you. Thank you.